Sup YouTube, this is Licious Kid from ClimaxCombo, back with another deck profile. This time it's the Love Live School Idol Project deck profile. This is only running the School Idol Project cards, meaning it's only cards from the first booster. But, I've been getting a lot of requests to do this video, this deck profile I should say, so yeah, so if you're like a Japanese player, then this really doesn't have any reference. This doesn't do anything for you, but yeah, this deck is red, yellow, green. And yeah, this was the build I was running till School Idol Festival came out. This build is pretty solid, and yeah, I'll just get right to it. So to start things off, I have 4 of these Nikos, 0025. It's like the Kirito from SAO, just when she's alone on the stage, she gets plus 15 and plus 1 level, so she hits 4k level 1, so you can kill Suiciders, and yeah, it's not bad at all. Run 4 of those. Next we run 4 of these Eddies, Harasho Eddies. They have 0025, but she changes. At the beginning of your climax phase, you can just send her to the clock and get this Eddie from your waiting room and put it to the slot that this was in. So yeah, just climax phase change, clock herself, change into the Eddie. And yeah, it's really just here for the green count and the early game change. It's nice if you can get it off. And yeah, and then I run a card that works well with this too, so I'll show that level 1. So yeah, 4 of these. Next up, we have these Nozomis 0035. This is the foil art. Just like the Asuna from SAO, on play, reveal top card of your library. If it's not a music character, it goes to clock, meaning if you hit an event or a climax, then it will go to clock, because all the characters in this deck are music. So yeah, 2 of those. Just really here to fix more green count. Next up, I just run 1 of these Honoka 002K. On play, pay 2, salvage. Not necessary, but I like cards like this, so I have 1 of these for funsies. Next up, I have these Honokas 1500. They are level 0 Suicider, and they have an effect on attack. You can send 2 cards from your waiting room back into the deck, shuffle it, and then when you do that, she gets plus 2k until the end of the turn, meaning she hits 3-5 power, which is pretty solid. But you really shouldn't be using that effect to run things over early in the game, because you essentially give yourself a chance to take 2 more damage, because you're sending 2 character cards back, meaning, yeah, which is dumb. You should not be using it to run over things, but you should be using it like when you have 1 card left in deck. You can attack, send 2 characters from your waiting room back into the deck, and then you get 3 attacks, because you have 1 already, you attack, get 2 more. If you're attacking 3 times, you know what you're triggering, and you compress yourself by 2 before you refresh, guaranteed no, and the 3 attacks that you do are guaranteed no climax, so long as the first card is not a climax in the start. So overall, this Honoka is a really solid card. It's a Suicider with a really nice effect. It's kind of situational, it doesn't always happen, but if you can get it off, then by all means, you really should go for it. And lastly, 2 of these Kotori 001500. On play, pay 1, discard a card, search your library for a music character, which is the entire deck, like I've said. It's weaker than most searches by 1k, which is retarded, but what can you do? And yeah, that is my level 0 lineup. That's 4, 8, 10, 13, 15, 16. 16 level 0s. On to level 1. First, to start things off, for level 1, you run 3 of these Umis 003K. She's 500 global to music, so yeah. And then she has another effect where you can pay 1, tap 2, and mill 4. Every climax you hit, you get to search for a music character from your deck, add it to your hand, and then shuffle. Yeah, overall, this Umi is just really important in Love Live. The 500 global is really solid, along with the option of always being able to brainstorm, keeping your stock clean, keeping your compress good, and just keeping all your characters really strong. So overall, Umi is a very important card in Love Live, and you should, and yeah, just really solid card. Next up, we have 2 of these Kotoris, 1015. It's also another. It says it's 500 global, and when you change, you can pay 1, and if she's on standing, you can put her to rest. And if you do salvage a music character from your waiting room, add it back to your hand. So yeah, this is the card I was talking about that works well with this changer. So you could just change, pay 1, tap her, and salvage. I'll talk about that later, but yeah, this Kotori is alright. This is just the foil art, and that's normal art. Next up, we have 4 of these Eddies, 1045, the main costless beater, or the main beater for level 1 in the deck. 1045, she gets 500 per music character on the field, so if you have a full field, she hits 6-5 before assist, which is really solid, and yeah, this Eddie is just really important to all Love Live decks, like I said in the deck building video. Last, for level 1, we also have these Honkas. She's 1165, and she has Encore, or my bad. Okay, so she's 116. She's 116k. If you have 3 or more music characters, she gets plus 500 and hand Encore, so she hits 1165 with hand Encore if you have 3 characters, which is really solid. And she also combos with the gate. When you have the gate out, when you attack, you can pay 1. If you do, search your deck for music character. No, salvage a music character, add it to your hand. So overall, this combo is just really solid. It breaks even. You can help pay out climaxes by attacking properly. And yeah, just run 2 of these. It's a really solid card. So overall, Honoka is really good. Have you seen my backup?
What? Terrain?
Yeah.
Anything in there?
It's not. 1. Oh, lol. Sorry. No wonder. Okay. She was hiding. Lastly, I run this in 1-1 2k backup. That's it. Just 2k backup for 1 cost. And that is all my level 1s at 3, 5, 9, 10, 12. 12 level 1s. On to level 2. Level 2 is 3 of these Eddies, or Umis, to start things off. 2-1, 8k. She gets 500 per character in rest on your side of the field, meaning that if your full field, if your front and back row is in rest, then she's pretty much a 2-1, 10k for 1 cost, which is really good. She's probably the best 1 cost beater at level 2 for Love Live. And yeah. And keep in mind that when your opponent reverses, like on their turn, they can reverse your other front row characters, and then she will lose power accordingly, because they have to be in rest. So do keep that in mind with this Eddie. Or Umi. Fuck. Overall, she's still a really solid card. Next up, Eddie. 2-1, 5k. She's level assist in front, and she has another effect. When she comes to, when you play from hand to stage, if you have 4 other music characters, meaning that if you have a full field, get the top card of your deck and put it to stock. So she's a blind stock if you have a full field when you play her. So yeah, alright. It's the level assist, and the second effect is pretty nice. I like the extra stock, but you know, it being blind can cause some problems sometimes. Lastly, we have these Nozomi's 2-1 3k backup, but she has another effect. When you play her from hand to stage, you can give another character plus 2k power, which is actually works pretty well in this deck. You'll see later. So yeah, that is my level 2. It's only 7 cards. And lastly, for level 3, I run 4 of these Umis, 3-2-9-5. But if you have, she heals on play. If you have 3 or more music characters, she gets plus 1k, so she hits 10-5 base, which is decently oversized, I guess. At least it's a little stronger than average. And she also combos with the 2k1. So with the 2k1 on attack, you can salvage a character, add it to your hand, and all your characters get plus 1k until the end of the turn. So yeah, overall this combo is pretty solid. It's not as good as Silica because it doesn't really help you end the game, but it helps you wipe your opponent's field by giving all your characters a little pump. Along with the 2k1, you can hit some decent numbers, I guess. You can force backups, or yeah, you can hit some decent numbers with this combo. So overall, it's just nice because it pluses you in hand size. And yeah. Other level 3s we run is 2 of these, the Uncommon Healer. She combos with the Wind Trigger. So what this does is on play, heal, and like I said, she combos with the Wind Trigger. On attack, give all your characters plus 3k until the end of the turn. No cost. So it's okay. Yeah, just pretty much it gives all your characters 4k because you have to keep in mind that this is a 1k1 soul. And yeah, just this combo is pretty solid. And the Wind Trigger is, I like Wind Trigger, it's okay. So yeah, just 2 of these for the extra healing and the occasional combo. And lastly, 1 of these 3-2 Nico. She's 10k power. She has -1 soul in front. And she has another effect. When she reverses an opponent's character, he can pay 2, discard a card. If you do send that character to clock, there's no restriction, restriction on this card. Like, you don't have to reverse a level 2 or higher, like Shu from Gilded Crown. and there's no combo. You don't need a combo with it. So overall, this card is just really solid. And it also works on your opponent's turn. Like if your opponent crashes into Nico, you can just pay the 2 and discard a card, and you can send that character to clock. So overall, this Nico's really good reason why you should be running green. But yeah, that is all. That is. Oh, never mind. I almost forgot again. I always forget to do Climax. Anyways, Climax lineup: 4 gates, 2 wind triggers, 2 2K1s. And yeah, that is my Climax lineup, and that is my deck. So now I'll go to how I played the deck. So start things off, level 0, or I guess even before the game starts. In your opening hand, if you have an Eddy, if you have 1 Eddy, you should discard it. So that way, if you draw into any of the changers, or if it's just in your opening hand as well, you can just, first turn change into the Eddy. She'll only be 4 or 5 power because she'll probably be alone because I don't run any level 0 assist, making her pretty fragile. If your opponent runs 2K1s, then they can probably kill Eddy with like a 3-5 level 0 2K1, hits 5-5, kill Eddy. But still, Eddy is still pretty solid opening turn just because, she can't be suicided and can kill most level 0s, or can kill all level 0s on offense. So yeah, opening hand, get an Eddy, ditch it, because it's a lot easier drawing into one of these than it is to discard one of these. So yeah, even before the game starts, you have a little game plan. But sometimes it just doesn't work out. So you got solo. You got this Nico here, kills the best opening hand, of course. Just play Eat Nico, and then hopefully you can get a couple pluses off her. If not, you have this Nozomi. It's just 0035 generic, but hey, what can you do? Like I said, if you can get Eddy's change off, you might as well do so. And if all else fails, you still have the Suicider to help you out. So level 0 is really generic. Just beat shit up with your cards. On to level 1. You have, you definitely want a couple Eddies out. And you definitely want an Umi out on the field. At least 1 with like another assist, maybe another Umi. Or maybe this Kotori. This Kotori is okay. You can have the 2 of these out at the back row because they're both 500 globals and pretty much makes if you have a full field with your Eddies, they pretty much becomes 1075, which is respectable. It demands it makes your opponent respect her power either by forcing backups or making them use stock to get rid of her by playing strong beaters or something. So overall, Eddy is just really important. Of course, you also have this Honoka. She does have hand encore. If you have 3 or more music characters, sometimes this can be a problem, but overall, it's still a really solid card. If you draw into any of the gates, you can always play the gates, and yeah, if you ever draw into the gates, play it, and then you can pay 1 to break even, which is pretty solid. And of course, since you do run the Kotori, if you if an Eddy dies, you can just drop Eddy. Change or clock it, get this out, pay 1, tap her, and then salvage a character, which is pretty good. And she does have to be standing. Keep that in mind. So if you're going to brainstorm, if you want to brainstorm and use Kotori's effect at the same time, you can always just pay 1, tap 2, so you can tap the Eddy or the Umi, and you can tap the Eddy, and then mill 4, and then when you change. Let me get another Eddy, actually. Oh, where is she? There we go. And that way, when you change, she's still standing, and you can still use this Kotori's effect. So do keep that in mind, that you don't have to tap the 2 back rows. You can tap the changer and the Umi itself. So that way, you can get both. If you want to change, if you want to use the Kotori and the Umi's effect at the same time, you can definitely do so. So yeah, that's how you play level 1. It's just try to build as much stock as possible without spending too much stock yourself. And then at level 2, nothing special once again. It's just, get an Umi out. She's, so when you hit level 2, you're probably going to move the Kotori up because at that point the Kotori isn't as good as the Umi because clocking yourself to change is not as advised at this stage of the game. So at level 2, probably move the Kotori up, and you have 4 characters for Eddy's effect to go off, so you definitely want to play her last. So that way, you, of course, don't play her first and then play this, because then you don't get the free stock. Just move her to the front. Hopefully, you have something left over. Play the 2-1 Umi, and then you play the little assist, and then you get the blind stock. since you get a free, since this pays for itself, you can use that blind stock you got to brainstorm, because that way you can pay out the blind stock in case it's a climax, and that way you also have these two are tapped, giving her more power, and then of course attacking with these two, making her 2-1, or with this setup she's 2-1, 10k, 11, 12, 12k, which is really freaking good for just one stock kind of, because she kind of pays for the brainstorm itself. And then next turn you can just keep brainstorming again and just giving her more power. So overall, this Umi is really solid. It works pretty well with Eddie, like I said, just because on play you get the free stock, and then you can pay out the stock, brainstorm. That way you keep Umi nice and strong. And yeah, that's all there really is for level 2. Is just try to play the level assist, try to get the Umi rolling, and try to prepare for level 3. And then at level 3, of course, you have Umi. Really, just heal with the combination of these two. And if you're trying to go for the end game, you have Nico. And Nico works well with both of their Climax combos because, like I said, you can 2k1 the Nico, attack with this first, and then, give them all 1k. So, let's say you have something like this. You 2k1 the Nico, she's 12k, 14k attack, she gets plus 1k, she gets 15k. So she's 15k on offense, which it can, possibly force kill a level 3, just depending on what series you're playing. Or if you have this out instead, you can use the wind trigger, and then she gets 4k because of the 1k and the 3k from the combo. So attack with this. She's 12k, she'll be 16k, pretty much assuring a kill on most, if not all, level 3s. Yeah, so overall, these Climax combo work pretty well with Nico, and of course, you do have the backup. Like I said, it works on your opponent's turn too, so if they're like, sometimes if you run them dry really hard, you can force them in these awkward situations where they have to try to just soul rush you. And sometimes if they put level 0 in front, try to attack Nico, no damage, and of course you have the 3k to work with her. And also, you can also play this from your hand, give Nico a 2k pump, making her 14k if you have the level field set up like this, 14k, which is pretty good. So yeah, that's why, like I said, this little assist works pretty well in the deck, just because it works both the Nico. You can play this, pump the Nico, and, get rolling. And yeah, that's how you play the deck level by level. It's not too complicated, to be honest. It's kind of vanilla-ish. Just try to get high numbers and kill stuff. And yeah, that's how I play the deck level by level. And lastly, some alternatives. I don't think you have to pause it. I could just go.
Go.
Yeah, there's not too much alternatives I would consider for red, yellow, blue, or red, yellow, green. First of all, I guess you can run the TD Honoka, just because I'm sure many of you guys have one, and she's still an okay card. Just, she can, on play, she pluses you, grab you anything, preparing you for level 3, and, if you attack with the other two first, she hits 12k base, which is pretty solid. So overall, you can still consider this Honoka into your builds if, you don't have all the cards, and it's just a solid card, so you can still consider this. Next, you have the level 1 Suicider. I don't advise running her combo with the blind stock 1 soul. Just run her for the level 1 Suicide, because the level 1 for Love Live doesn't really hit high power. It usually peaks at 7.5 unless you play Climax or just something weird happens, or you have multiple 500 globals on the field. So most of the time you peak at 7.5, which is not that strong. You can have problems with the TD Asuna, Prison Queen Asuna, the Fate Zero Rider, etc., etc. Just thinking about the English cards top of my head. So yeah, overall, you can still consider this card into your builds, because level 1 Suiciders are always good. Next, you have the 117k. What she does is on it, actually, I wouldn't consider her for red, yellow, green. My bad. Ignore that. Of course, if you don't want the 112k backup, the Veen, you can just run the Chibi Eddie. She's 1-0, 1500 backup. You can still run this. Hopefully you got a couple of these PRs in your box openings. If not, you can just run the blue one, but definitely you can consider this. Not really that big of a deal, but the choice is yours if you want a 1-1 counter or you want a 1-0 counter. And lastly, you have the Nozomi, the double R, 2-1, 8k. It's a pretty solid card. So when she reverses an opponent's character, you can reveal the top card of your library. If the top card you revealed is music, give another character 2k and 1 soul. So you can, kill something weak, give another character more power to guarantee the kill. I wonder if they can hear that baby crying.
We'll watch the video, see.
Yeah, well, excuse us for the baby. It's my neighbors. I can't really do much about that, to be honest. But, Hopefully you guys can hear it. Anyways, what was I saying? So yeah, she can, like I said, it also works with the Nico, because it gives you can kill something really, no, the Nico will just kill something weak, never mind. Overall, you can just kill something, give another card power, and this also works on defense, so if they like, try to kill Nozomi, back it up, and then she reveal the top card, and then give another one of your characters plus 2k and 1 soul. Of course, the 1 soul doesn't mean anything on defense, so, but still, it's kind of like saving 2 characters for 1 backup if your opponent doesn't play it right. So yeah, overall this Nozomi is just pretty solid. She's pretty weak, just because she's 218k, but overall, if you have a couple of these, you can always consider running 1. I probably wouldn't run more than 1, probably just 1. Yeah, I wouldn't consider more than 1, but definitely 1 is an okay choice. Just don't run this, just don't use her effect at level 3, because like, they crash into her, you reveal the top card, if it's a climax, your opponent's gonna swing for like 1 soul, and then try to, do more damage to you the next attack. But if they didn't know that, their attack order might have been different, so hope you guys know what I mean. But yeah, just don't use this card when you're at level 3 on defense, but you can use it on defense at level 2. So overall, that is my School Idol project deck profile. It's just like it's really cookie cutter, to be honest. It's just like all the solid cards added into one deck for the Love Live. You can always run like the 1 to 2 changes, or the 0 to 1 change, or like the 1 to 2 changes. You can always run a couple of those. Just feel free to run what you would like. And yeah, this is just a couple words, I guess, for you English players. Of course, Love Live is getting the second set in School Idol Festival. I'm sure my channel already has a deck profile for that. I'm going to be having more for it too. So Love Live does have a strong future for you guys. School Idol Festival does add a lot to the set. It gives you a lot of level 3 options. And yeah, it makes the deck a lot better. So, if you feel a little underwhelming right now with your current Love Live build, don't worry, because School Idol Festival does make the deck a lot better. And we're getting another extra booster soon, and it's going to make the deck even better, hopefully. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. Like always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And until next time, guys.